Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon, back again with another episode of The Bad Batch. You can tell the sun is not quite shining as brightly now because it is later in the day. Also, I think Zuko has gone for a nap, so he may not bother me as much this episode, although I'm sure he made for an adorable companion on screen. Yes, this is the second episode of the day. Really enjoyed the last one, where we got to focus entirely on the goings-on on Coruscant. Picking up with a couple of random clone troopers. I believe it was Slip. I forget the name of the other one. But again, it's showing you now how there is more and more kind of division between the clones about, the actions the Empire has taken. Specifically the destruction of Kamino and how that's trying to be covered up. Though there is a threat that, the legislation they are trying to put forward in the Senate might be derailed if that does get out to the rest of the Senate. Now, just based off of where we know the history books go, I'm going to assume that they are able to successfully, for the most part, suppress the news about Kamino, or at worst, they will try and twist it into a positive news story for the Empire. Maybe talk about how the clones, were low quality. Something along the lines of, like with the Jedi, they managed to try and twist that into making the Empire look like heroes against the Jedi. I'm sure that they would try and do the same. However, I don't think Admiral Rampart would probably survive that process. So that's really what I think we've got at stake here, is whether Admiral Rampart will survive the season, or whether he will, be found out. Now, there is also the possibility of a clone civil war. We saw that whoever this clone-like person was who tried to kill the senator didn't give us his name. He does look and sound like a clone, but apparently not. Apparently, he's a believer, is what he said. And now, I don't know if this is a new type of clone that has been bred with extra powers, or, if it's just a clone who has been really properly entrenched in the belief of the Empire, even when the Empire is getting rid of all their brothers. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes, but this next episode is going to take place back with the Bad Batch on Kashyyyk, so I think we're going to diverge away from that story a little bit. Either way, it's going to be an interesting watch, so come along with me, and let's see what happens. Gonk! Gonk, gonk. She is meditating.
Finally! I'm tired of waiting around for Sid. What do you need, Rex? I'll explain everything when you get to Coruscant.
They're going to Coruscant? That's a risk.
Ask, Captain.
Down they go. It is ridiculous just how a planet like that can work. No greenage, no foliage, no forests, oceans.
He's an assassin. His identifying number's been wiped.
I was not aware that was possible.
I think he's new.
A clone contacted mine named Slip.
Slip witnessed the truth. I wanted him to testify to Rampart's crimes.
I mean, they could also testify.
I can be your witness. The Senate won't listen to any of us. Lots of security, but I know a way in.
I am all for this.
Vote tomorrow. We must prove his crimes before it passes.
Senator Chuchi.
Oh dear.
You seem surprised to see me, Admiral.
Not at all. I was just making...
He has no idea who Omega is, does he?
Indeed. I am looking forward to it.
No more delays on this vote, Rampart.
Awfully risky just having Omega walking through.
This is where the Senate
Omega
gathers
is
to discuss
in
many
the Senate
pressing issues and legislation,
itself.
where the future of the galaxy is decided. Clones do not have representation in the Senate. They never have.
Why not?
Because they're
Part of
just
this
soldiers.
galaxy too.
There are those who view clones only as military assets, but I am working to change that for Camino.
She was part of the Defense Finance Committee before being removed from office.
I was going to say, technically, wouldn't the clones be represented by her?
It always leaves a trail.
Because they are technically from Camino.
Then
It's a real risk putting Omega in front of a Kaminoan.
missing Senate appropriation funds that were earmarked for operations on Camino.
You're a fool to bring me here.
Uh-oh.
Do you know what happens when you dig around where you shouldn't?
Your people deserved.
My people are gone. The few remaining Kaminoans scattered throughout the galaxy are of no importance to me. And therefore...
Jeez, what a representative.
My concern. Too confident his clones were a necessity to the Empire.
The way her head shakes, it's like a...
Did Admiral
It's a real
Rampart
quirk
get the
and
funds?
very well done in animation.
You already know the answer. But yes.
I need both, and I'm running out of time.
It's strange how only 10, 12 years... No, not even that. Only a few years earlier, Camino... No one knew about it because it wasn't even in the records. But now they have a senator.
I'm taking a lesson from your squad. We improvise.
So in other words, it's a plan as we go along. Surprised they're retrofitting a Venator when they're due for decommissioning soon. I mean, we're not far off getting Imperial Class 1 Star Destroyers. Oh, jeez. Hold on tight. So, back to stunning people. But again, I understand that. They don't want to kill their own kind. But they're on the bridge. I just... wondering how this is all going to play out. Uh-oh, they're on the way. Oh, I love that siren. That's the First Order siren. And now you got U-Wings in the air. Oh, sorry, V-Wings. I keep calling them U-Wings.
86, all of them, yes.
Ah.
And the cannons, deal with the air support.
Oh, they're going to use the cannons on the Venator? Damn, that's so cool. This is definitely going down like a normal Bad Batch plan.
Complete. Lat 5, I need an exit strategy. Got one. We're going over them. Over them?
Which reminds me of Rebels when they infiltrated Tarkin's destroyer. Yeah, that's not going to buff out. They're going to need to do some repair work on that. They launched them all at once. Nice. He's the pilot now.
We need to hurry.
Damn, you know what? Considering that plan went haywire, they were real slick about getting that exit sorted.
Get this to Senator Chuchi. Hurry.
Again, I still find it mad that Omega is
I am not at liberty to
in the
disclose
Senate building.
nature of certain military operations.
Were intentionally eliminated.
I mean, the fact that people didn't suspect this before shows you how useless the Senate really is.
Identify such baseless accusations with more of my time.
I motion that Senator Chuchi be removed from these proceedings and she be
Of
censured for
course
her
you
misconduct.
do.
I second the motion.
Of course you do.
The recovered command log from Admiral Rampart's Venator
She's gonna die.
indicates his own ships caused
'Cause
the
this-
destruction of Tipoca's.
I don't know, this can't go down like this. Okay, it can. There we go. Ah, in your faces. Oh, this is going to be Palps. It's Palps. It's Papa Palpatine.
Are correct.
They planned for this.
This unprovoked attack on Camino was a cowardly act by guards. Arrest and detain the Admiral.
You see how these kinds of people operate?
I am deeply troubled by this recent revelation.
Yes.
My gratitude
There's Ian.
to Senator Chuchi for it, I assure you. Admiral Rampart will face the
I love that.
consequences for his treachery.
I assure you.
However, perhaps
I love the music.
time for a change. Now, more than ever, building a strong galaxy requires protection. That this legislation is our future.
See, they've worked it. Slimy snakes.
We shall usher in a new era, heralded by the Imperial Stormtrooper.
Gotta say, I love it. I really do. Palpatine's the one villain I'll root for.
Wherever you end up, remember what I said.
Is Echo going with him?
Don't get into trouble without us.
Oh, damn.
Without us?
I can't turn my back on them.
Not sure how I feel about that because he's not around in Rebels.
Omega, this is something I have to do. I'm going where I'm needed. Understood?
And another member of the Bad Batch down. Oh dear. Well, that was bloody brilliant. I don't know why I'd had assumptions that the episode was gonna take place on Kashyyyk. I think I must have seen something from the last episode before these two and assumed it was related to this episode now. But yeah, no, I mean, this kind of had everything I really enjoy about good storytelling, you know. Very much like in Andor, lots of political intrigue. I love it when we have a smart villain. You know, when we have a villain worthy of you actually disliking them or, you know, wanting to, you know, be a true antagonist to the point where it makes you support the good guys even more. And Palpatine is that. Palpatine is the type of character who is cunning, intelligent, conniving, and as we've seen here, he planned well ahead. You know, he had a go-to plan. And how Zuko's grooming himself and knocking the camera around. He had a go-to plan, regardless of what happened. If the bill passed and, you know, the the information was never revealed, then great. But if it was, then, you know, he had that plan ready to go to pass the blame on to Admiral Rampart and use it to justify the fact that the clones are erratic and, you know, they don't have that moral conscience to say this is wrong, when in actual fact he's the one who made them that way. So very clever. And, you know, again, I think that exemplifies real life. Again, I don't want to tie too much into the politics of it, you know, but very much like last episode, this shows you how when someone has formulated a plan, they will, when it's exposed, they will do their best to pass the buck on to another person, you know, rather than admitting the truth. They're like, no, it was this person, you know, and deflect. And that's, you know, unfortunately a very human and still existent quality in the world, you know, in the modern world as well. But again, it was great to see them kind of trawling around the streets of Coruscant, you know, hijacking almost a Venator, you know, and again, I'm surprised that they're refitting the Venators. You know, I would have thought that we're not too far off from getting, you know, Imperial-class Star Destroyers. And now, you know, obviously with this bill signed, I think it is going to be a case of we're going to see that ramping up of, you know, the transformation between clones and stormtroopers and the old and the new. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But this was a great episode, you know, because again, it's making you think, and in the back of my mind, I knew something was going to go wrong because clearly that defense pact was signed. The stormtroopers eventually get in, we know that. But what I'm not so certain of is the fate of Echo now. That surprised me. He could very well return to the Bad Batch at some point, but it's not guaranteed. Because we know that he's not with Rex by the time the Rebels comes around, which is probably another 12 years away from where we are at least. But time will tell, I guess. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for the next one.